I traveled to Trinidad and Tobago to host a jiu-jitsu camp that I'll never forget. I had the best time and I had the honor of rolling Josh Watkins. Not only is he an excellent Sambo fighter who placed silver at the 2015 Sambo World Championships, but he's also a national judo champion and a professional MMA champion with a record of 13-1. Keep in mind that we're rolling in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rule set. He's a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The goal when passing is to get chest to torso connection, either chest to chest by taking mounts or side control, or chest to back by taking the back. So he must get lower to me at some point, but he's engaging on his own terms, not letting me grip on him. Engaging and disengaging is something that I call anti-jiu-jitsu, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's an effective tactic and can be very frustrating for the guard player. Eventually, I am able to grip on him with the insteps of my feet, and now I pull myself closer and underneath him and start working for a leg lock. There wasn't a specific leg lock that I was looking for, I was just entering into a leg entanglement. I insert my right leg between his legs, and now the path of least resistance will likely be a knee bar. I want to extend Josh away to get his weight off of me, as he's doing a great job staying heavy on top of me. So I extend him with my hamstring and triangle my legs. His legs are now lighter to me now that his weight is off of me. I drop my left arm down to the bottom of his left leg to get closer to the end of the lever. Now that I have it and start extending my legs further, his weight travels to his butt and I'm able to drop my hips down slowly to get the finish. Because he was falling, I had to be very careful to go extra slow as gravity would accelerate the force if I wasn't careful. Partner safety is number one in any submission or position, but especially leg locks, as we need our legs and knees in good health to do things beyond jiu-jitsu like walking. Keep your knees and your partner's knees safe at all times. And now just a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, LMNT. Training jiu-jitsu can be extremely taxing on the body. For example, whenever I increase my training frequency, I experience more fatigue and more muscle cramps. Now, one of the reasons that this happens is due to the loss of electrolytes through sweat, the primary one being sodium. When sodium isn't adequately replaced, that's when we experience all those side effects. And that's why I started drinking LMNT. It's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with a science-backed electrolyte ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Plus, it comes with no sugar, no coloring, and no artificial ingredients, none of that junk. That's why it's used by everyone from Navy SEALs, Olympic athletes, NBA players to jiu-jitsu athletes, and everyday exercise enthusiasts. Right now, LMNT is offering listeners a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving packets free with any LMNT order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share LMNT with a salty friend. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/JordanTeaches. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/JordanTeaches. Josh again is using anti-jiu-jitsu very well and it's tiring me out pretty good, as I unfortunately got sick the first days of the camp and tried to make up for lost time, rolling as much as I could this day as it was the first day that I was feeling better. Josh goes for a quick knee slide, but this shows the consequence of not getting adequate grips to prevent underhooks, as the underhook is the enemy of the knee slide alongside with the knee shield. As he slides, I take an underhook and grip his leg to get up to my knees to wrestle, but I lose his leg and now I prioritize protecting my neck. It seems that he may want to go for a Peruvian necktie. This is a Peruvian necktie that I got caught in but escaped. But back to Josh, I'm controlling his feet so he can't get his legs over top of me. I fight the hands and hit a sit through. Josh hurt his hand a bit as it happened, but he keeps going. MMA fighters are a different breed and have the right mentality when it comes to training hard. No complaints, he just gets on with it. Back at it, and I hit a nice wrestle up by going for a double. I timed it so as he postures up slightly, I could get underneath his arms so he couldn't use his arms to defend my entrance to his hips. As I come up, I make sure to bring my weight fully over top of him by bringing myself more to my right, his left. If I stayed here, he'd possibly be able to shrimp to get his hips out and escape. And now priority is to put him on his back, as I still run the risk of him shrimping out. He could possibly build a base and get to his feet while he's still on his butt. Just standing up is another example of anti-jiu-jitsu and it works great. I can't let him do that, so I drive my weight into his hips to control his hips, as it's his hips that he needs for mobility to build a base. Now that I have him on his back, I backstep to pass and transition from controlling just his hips to his hips and his head. He takes an underhook and I know he wants to use it to turn towards me. An explosive movement is coming and I shoot my leg over his underhook as he comes up. This is very similar to how I won an amateur MMA belt. I baited my opponent to turn towards me and I armbarred him as he did. I'd rather finish on top, but I can't get the grips that I need over his head and fall to my back. The last grip that I need is my left leg over his head, but Josh is doing a great job posting his right leg on the mat to control my hips and prevent the angle. I keep working until I get it, and now I have his arm fully extended. I'm not saying that I would have got it otherwise, but because I have gravity working against me, it's very hard to get a slow and controlled finish from this position, and I'm not about cranking submissions unless it's a tournament. So I go slow anyways to be safe, but lose the extension of his arm. He now has defensive grips, which will be easier for me to break with him on his back, so I start working to off-balance him to put him on his back, but his right foot posted on the mat will prevent me from bringing him to that side. As I mentioned in my Jiu-Jitsu theory course, your foot on the mat is your first layer of defense. It's more defensive than having your knee on the mat. Josh slips his elbow past my hips to escape, which is his second layer of defense, and now he's out of my armbar. We're hosting another camp in Tobago next year, and I'm also hosting a camp in Vietnam in October with MMA Shredded. Let me know if I'll see you there. Josh pushes me to the mat, which is smart, as I would more easily be able to take grips from my butt, and pinning your opponent's back to the mat should be priority when passing. But as he pushes me down, I prioritize staying on my side and take a 2-on-1 grip on his arm. I direct his arm to the side to take his back, as often all that's in the way of taking someone's back is their near side arm, but I wasn't able to keep his posture broken long enough and he brings his arm back in front of me. As he does, I use that opportunity to take an underhook with my left arm and block his post with my right arm. As I drop down, I insert a butterfly hook and lift him up with it. What Josh should have done to counter is simply got up to 1 or 2 of his feet. In fact, just in general, you should not be on your knees to pass unless you have adequate control of your opponent's upper body with their back pinned to the mat. As I take top position, I find myself in a low posture headquarters. His left knee is being used as a short frame to stop me from taking mount. I have an underhook with my left arm, which is great for knee sliding to the opposite side, but it's not as deep as I'd like it to be, as Josh is doing a great job framing me away with his right forearm, which stops me from taking a deeper underhook. I could knee slide anyways, but now it's even less deep and I risk him taking an underhook on me as I go for the knee slide. As again, the underhook is the enemy of the knee slide. I try to hit a hip switch by forcing his legs to point away from me as I backstep, but he stops me with a sticky hook by keeping his left foot gripped on me. This is what I was trying to do. Now I'm left with both his legs on the inside. Both his legs have inside position. So I work to get one of my legs on the inside to get back to headquarters. As I do, he lifts me forward using his butterfly hook. Instead of fighting against that movement, I go with the momentum for a rolling front headlock, snatching up his neck and getting underneath his arm in the process. The rolling front headlock is something I often do, as it can often be easier than passing and very opportunistic when you're lifted forward or see your opponent's head lifted off the mat. I have a mounted arm in guillotine, but the issue is his right arm isn't fully behind my back like you see here. Because it's in front of my chest, he's able to use it to grip fight. I try to get a deep grip underneath his neck so I can finish, but can't get it where I need it due to his grip fighting. So I go path of least resistance and take advantage of his open elbow, which is open due to the grip fight. Immediately I transition to an underhook. He made the situation worse by lifting his own arm higher. Immediately I take advantage of it by raising my arm so he can't bring it back down. I needed his arm up, so even that little bit of distance created by him means that I didn't have to work to get it up higher, he did the work for me. I just need to work to get a little bit higher now. Once his elbow is far enough in front of his shoulder, I can now transfer my head in place of my arm. The focus now is getting a good bite on the arm triangle, which as I've shown in my arm triangle video means I need my arm completely wrapped around his neck. Similar to scissors, you want the pivot point of the scissors as close to the object you're cutting as possible. I'm not wasting any energy by squeezing whatsoever until I have the perfect bite. The issue is Josh is incredibly strong and athletic and almost rolls me over. I just stay tight and patient. I prefer to finish from mount, but need to get my body more underneath his right side. To gain better position, I have to dismount into side control. Once I get the bite that I need, I put on the squeeze, causing Josh to tap. Alright, thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you're still here, please leave a comment or fist bump, and I'll see you guys next time.